I'm sitting here with Chris Whillock from Whittling Shack. Hello, Chris.
Hello.
Chris is going to carve one of his bark faces. I took his class on Monday. Here it is Thursday, and he did another class last night. And I've heard nothing but good things about the carvings that he does. Some of those carvings are over here in my earlier video. You see them, but we're going to carve one of those here.
Better ones are down there.
Using those 2x tools. And so you see these right here. And these are done with some really bold cuts, lending itself to the crazy nature of carving with bark, which can lend itself to zombies and cowboys and you name it. Chris is going to carve one of his faces, and he'll talk us through it as he does that. And I'll turn it over to Chris.
All right. So first, the basic set of tools that I use are, it's real simple. I keep it simple. It's a big gouge, a little gouge, a big V, a little V, and a knife. Now, as far as big gouge, this is like a 12 millimeter, 16 millimeter, anywhere from 10 millimeter and up, so that's like 3/8 to a half or 5/8. The bigger V tool is 8 millimeter, which is about 3/8. And then these guys are probably little 1/4 inchers, something like that. But 2 V tools, 2 gouges, the knife, you can do a ton. I will use this big number 5. This is one of my favorite tools, and that works in conjunction with your knife. Like if I'm going to clear this, going this way with your knife is really easy, correct? But then when you have to come down this side, it's more awkward. So that's where this kind of tool comes in very handy, because you can have the sweeping motion. So a knife and this bigger gouge works really perfect in conjunction. Today I'm just going to do a really quick, forgive me if it looks crude, but I just want to show you the basic steps laying out how I do one of those wood spirits. I call them wood spirits. They're very popular in craft shows. You can do a whole bunch of different faces. You can paint some. When I paint it, I just use a white acrylic wash, and then I'll finish it with Howard's feed and wax over the top. That will darken the bark. This is cottonwood bark, and but I like that finish because I can travel and doesn't smell. So we'll get right into it. So I start by I put the nose about halfway in the bark, because a face isn't a realistic face, so the features are kind of drawn out more. So, and I also, arranging the bark, I would put the wider end here for the bottom, because you can do more with the beard and things than save the hair. Then I also look for whether the eye area is going to be fairly clear. This kind of stuff just adds character. I'm fine with that, but I definitely wouldn't want a big crack going right through here. So the first thing I do is I take my knife and I establish the bottom of my nose, and then I clear out the wood below, and I'm going to carve pretty fast. Now what I've been doing is putting a stop cut up here. That way I can save some of this bark. So I'm just going to rough in a stop cut at the top of the forehead, so I can angle the tip of the nose down to the back of the forehead. So that's what I'm trying to get, a nice flat plane. Okay, see how this is high here and low here. And then this automatically kind of gives you, and I'm using the tool backwards to get some curves in there, but this gives you some nice area to do some hair. Okay, my next step is I angle up the corners of the nose, because the nose is kind of rounded. Now, that's all ready for drawing in now. I like to give a little crooked smile to my faces, because if I'm just going to do straight mustache going down, it looks really sad and sullen and mean sometimes. So I like to give just a little bit of up. This is called the smile lines here, coming off down to the nose. So I'll put one side kind of curved up and the other side down. Now this, we're going to work in the top, the mustache is what we're going to do. So this one comes down, and I'm just going to go ahead and draw in the mouth as well. So once again, I have one side higher, one side lower, one side higher, one side lower. This is going to be the mustache. Now I like to bring some hair like over, have it kind of flowing, but I do want to keep this fairly open in here so I can get like a lip and some beard and stuff. So, because if I just close it off, there's not much room to work there. So I'm going to bring his mustache around like this. So now I'll roughen those lines with the V-tool, the big V-tool. So I did the top, the mustache. Now I'm going to do that where I drew in that mouth. Now, this video I'll probably do this pretty shallow for time. Sometimes I'll go real deep. So just outline with that, the big V. And now I'll take the big gouge, and I'm just going to get that out of there.
Hog it out.
Hog it out. Now, I might want to put in a bottom lip down here because I do like to break up. I don't want mustache and then beard and nothing in between. I'd like to break it up with like a lip. So I may curve it down a little bit just to start roughing in a lip. The lip needs to be below the mustache. This is the bottom lip here. And this is the big gouge. Now this is a really cool area down in here. And here, if you're seeing some of those, I'll actually undercut underneath the mustache after I'm done detailing, and that gives a nice really shadow underneath that lip. The little shadows are the ones that get the attention, you know, attract the eye, the attention. So right now you can see I'm kind of formed, you know, just kind of a rough shape for the lip. Now I'm going to make this the beard. Start of the beard, and there's just a little skin under here that goes into the chin, but I'm going to make this hair. So I'm going to curve this up here and then this side too. Okay, now I want to define this line a little more. And on this side too. Now this is, as I say a few times maybe in the video, this is called the $3 million cut chip. I call it a 3-cut chip, but this is what you do in these little corners to make these shadows. There's a stop cut, and then lay the knife flat, and it's clearing cut. Now you guys probably do that normally as a woodcarver anyway, but you never knew the name of it probably. I think that name either comes from Jim O'Day from Florida or Jim Heiser, I can't remember. One of them two guys. The $1 million cut. But you see how, and you'll see in some of my finished carvings, that you'll see a lot of these little shadow areas, that, and we could put a couple more down in here, but so I'm going to run the V-tool here, and this is just going to establish the start of the beard. So this is another great area for one of those 3-cut chips. And then down in here. So you can kind of see a beard, a bottom lip, the kind of chin's forming, and a mustache, all with just a few cuts. Okay, so this is where I pretty much leave this, the bottom. Now, I call this framing the face, I guess. I'll draw a center line. This is wide enough bark, so I can put some hair coming down the sides. So I start, the framing the face is where the skin and then the hair that line. So I'll start in kind of by the temple area and make it narrower, and then I'll swing a line out here and here. Now you can put rounded cheeks in here if you want. I sometimes just draw a line coming in like this. So this is, I call framing the face here. So I'm going to V-tool this and then angle this wood into that V-tool all around, and that will get my face thinner there. I can set in my eye sockets and then keep some hair up high. So that's what I'll do here. It's handy to have a little piece of leather. I put this, whatever cuts I'm doing, I can have it protecting me. Kind of handy. Okay, so that's where the face shape is in there. This is going to be hair coming down, hair on either side. Got my center line, so now eye sockets. What I do is I take that big gouge and I run about halfway in between these two, right here, and I'll just run right across with a nice deep gouge, and I'll even go across the middle here. And this is like 9/16, so that creates some nice eye sockets. I gotta even that out. And I tell people, like, the size of my thumb, you know, if I press down, if this was clay and I press down, that's about the shape that you want. And yeah, they're right there is a good time we can take out that middle. Alright, so that's got my eyes ready to go. Now, since I have this gouge, I just run it alongside the nose. Now I want to keep this edge, don't cut that edge. I run it alongside the nose on both sides, and then, you know, kind of clear off this chin here a little bit. I'll do this side. So now I'm creating, now my nose is almost done. All I got to do is throw some wings in there. So I'm going to just establish a nice clean area for the eyes. Okay, so my eyes, I do triangle eyes, and what it is it kind of has a flap of skin. Like, I could use them in Santa Clauses and wood spirits and stuff, because this little fold of skin is kind of hanging over. So, but they're really easy to carve and they're really easy to teach. I start with 2 dots. This is the top of the triangle. The triangle is the opening of the eye. I'll look at those. Are they up, down, side to side? Do they work? Yep. Okay. Now I'll do the inside corner, and that should be about an eye width across. So this eye is going to be with this. You want this. So basically 3 eyes across. The realistic head is 5 eyes across, but this is a wood spirit, so it's going to not be proportionate. So I draw this line here, and I'll bring this line all the way around for that side of the eye. So I think those look okay. Line up, line down. Now I just want to keep eyes bigger. I always do things bigger than smaller. I don't know, I like to work big, but also you can always make things smaller if needed. But it's hard to make a little teeny eye and then expand it. I'm at this point, I'm just going to draw on the wings of the nose too, just because I've got the pencil. So I just put the wing, that little trough we created. That's how I do my nose, right there. So now I got all that. I take out the little V-tool. It's about this is a Stubai from Austria, number 41, 5mm. So it is big, but you can use it like part of it, so it does work small. So that the top of the dot that we drew first, start there, and carve that in, and go right off the side of the face, because that'll create like a wrinkle over there. Then, right here, go right off there. Then this inside dot, I'll go up into there. Now if you do it right, it should pop right out. So that comes right, and now I'll finish here and around. There's the outline of the eye. So I'm going to do this other side. That one. That one came right out. I'm just going to do this the opposite way, but that's okay. There. I got them outlined with a V-tool. Now, quite often, depending on your bark or the stick, if it's rounded, these eyes then would be looking this way. Now you want your eyes looking forward, at least the shape. So I will 3-cut chip the 2 inside corners. So I'll use my knife, and it's a stop cut, and then lay the knife flat, and a clearing cut. See how that made that eyeball now look forward, just with that little cut. 3-cut chip. $1 million cut. $1 million chip. So I'm going to keep this pretty shallow carve. I mean, you could put more details in. I take that. Now I always have my spirits looking off to the sides, not or up, but not straight ahead. Don't put just dots in the center and have him straight. He'll look like a zombie or something. So I'm going to have him looking up this way. So this is the pupil and the iris. So the pupil. There's that little gouge now. That's a number 9. It's about 6 millimeter. That's 1/4 inch. I just put it in, give it a little turn, and pull it out. Okay? You stop right there. You're cutting into this stop cut line. Then I take my knife and cut and chip that out. That should make a nice looking circle for pupil. I'm going to do the other side. I'll probably deepen that one later, but and then I'll add the iris, which is the colored part of the eye. I think I got that right. And I'm just adding a little V-tool there. So that's the eye right there. Since I have this V-tool, I'm going to go ahead and put these wings in. Now, 3-cut chip right here. It's a great. These two are great places for that 3-cut chip. Stop cut, clearing cut. You see how the shadows are starting to appear, and when you look even at the eyes here, these little shadow cuts are the ones that kind of make it. I don't know, bring it to life or something like that. I don't know what the shadow. I think it was my dad or somebody. They talked about relief carving and how it's all about shadows. All right, so the eye, the nose. We'll clean up the nose a little bit. We have a divot to separate here. Now you can see in my other carvings, sometimes I'll put eyebrows in, draw them in. Sometimes I'm gonna even this out, and I'll finish this up, and then we'll take some pictures of the finished piece. But so the eyebrow, I'll just draw in and this is just I just relief carve it. But I got all that space there. That's why whenever I have a lot of space, I'll kind of fill it with something. Once again, that little V-tool. Unless you don't want to do too much crazy stuff right now, because it's the carving's almost done, so I don't want to mess it up. Okay, got a couple eyebrows. So all I'm gonna do is put some hair. Now obviously you could texture that better. You could put some more body to it, you know, and relieve the wood around it. But for this, I'm going to just do it like that for now. Okay. So we got our mouth. This lip is a little high. Like now is just kind of cleaning. So now the hair. I think we'll get into the hair here. So I use pretty much 2 tools for hair. And as you probably guessed, it's the big V tool, the big gouge first, and the little V tool. The big gouge and the big V tool. Sometimes I'll add the little V tool. Now hair on these spirits, I'm going to draw on the hair, and it stems from, it will come from the nostrils. So, and I always have curved lines for the most part, obviously. And you don't want them too uniform. Maybe those are too. So I'm just drawing curved lines, S's and C's, I guess. And this, now this hair is going to come and flow down here. So I'm just drawing a few lines. Under here, this beard area will just, some hair come in here. Now up here, you have it come from the part. This is the part. So it's going to originate from the part. And then there's the part, and then have some hair coming down here, down here, down here. This is going to be hair here. Now it's a little messy in here. We can clean it up later, but have some hair coming down and a little bit there. Here. This is a cool little area. You could have it some hair kind of like turning up like this. So it's got a curve like this. So that's the hair. Now I will set in what I can with the big gouge. So I'm going to go right on those lines. And that's going to create, I call it creating flow. And it kind of layers, gives a layer look. So all them little lines, I'm just giving a nice gouge to it. Up here it might be more difficult, but this now the sides. And then the beard here. My friend Marv Kaisersack calls my style deep gouge style because I'm not afraid to take wood away. Now here we'll show you this. Okay, so I just set the flow with this big gouge. This will be great. And then up here. Okay, so look at that. It's already got some nice shape to it. Now watch when I put that V tool in there. Now I want to go, and this is something Vic Hood. I also took a class from Vic Hood. He does the same thing, or similar. I mean, the gouge. Now I'm going to run the V tool in those same gouge marks. 1, 2, 3. It's not just random V tools. Put it right in the same. Let's see how with just a few tools here, now we got some pretty interesting looking hair with flowing and curves. Now we can go in and maybe put a few lines in, but I wouldn't just cover it full of lines. It gets way too busy. But just a few maybe small V tool lines. But when I do these for craft shows, and I do a lot for demos for classes, so I have a lot. As you can see, my table's full of wood spirits. I just love doing them, but it's a nice, quick, easy project, and really at craft shows, they're pretty popular. Now, I've had people see mine in like my website, and somebody offered me $200 for one this exact same size. Just called me up and said, I want to buy it. But if I get big inventory and I get a lot, then you go to craft shows. It's kind of on the market right now. You know how much to charge. So I will, depending on the market, I'll vary my prices a little bit. I suppose a craft shack could go to.
It's about break time.
Well, break time here.
We go into our break.
About $40 maybe, or.
Not only is Marcus a dang good guy, he serves as the vice president of this organization.
You're gonna hear the
raffle ticket salesman. And anyway, I want to encourage you to come over and say hi to Marcus and buy some raffle tickets. There's a few more hours left and a lot of stuff to give away tonight. So come over and say hi to Marcus.
We are at the North. We're gonna get it right. Northwest Wood Carving Academy in Ellensburg, Washington. And it's a full week of classes. You can take classes from any number of people here, and it's a really fun time. So you'll like it. So that's pretty close to how I do the layout and things. No, I'm gonna break up the edges here. So like here, the mustache and the hair. So I'm just gonna kind of break up some, like down here maybe. Let's see where this hair kind of goes up here. That looks like a natural place for let's see, I could, maybe just kind of just do it when what it looks like I should,
Kind of go with what the
yeah, there you go, you get me. Alright, so right there, and I could put, you want me to put a little Howard's feed-in wax on this to show? Okay,
yes.
So we're gonna move up to my makeshift bench. We're gonna do a quick.
Like I said, wild and wacky and extremely fun. Everybody should do at least, 20 or 30 of these.
I don't know if you want to show the Howard's feed and wax, but that's what it is. You can get it at Ace Hardware's, most hardware shops, and I just like it. It's not, doesn't have that real odor.
I feel like you're breathing all those compounds.
Yeah. Okay, so this is really cool. I love this part because this just absolutely
Covering it.
And it brings out those 3-cut chips. Now this looks like we got a piece, maybe of Montana Gold, which has got this yellow tint to the bark, and it's really cool looking. Now I do cover the bark even just to even out. I don't really soak it in there. And I want to get into those crevices just a little bit on here. I do the ends just to even out sides. Sometimes I'll do the back. I haven't cleaned this off, but I carve this off and put your name on it, definitely, maybe even the year. Okay, so you let that sit for about 15 minutes, then you take a rag, wipe it off, let it sit overnight, and then you take a shoe brush and buff it.
you have to worry about the compound being on the rag, catching fire like linseed oil does.
I make sure not to just throw it. Yeah, I don't want to take chances. Too many people
Sure.
have, but yeah, properly. I've heard people put them in Ziploc baggies in water. I've heard a lot of different ways to do it, but just dispose of your rags very carefully.
Gotcha.
And there you go. Well, we'll get it dried up, and then you'll see the finished. So thank you. This
Thanks,
is
Chris.
Chris with Whillock Wood Carving. My website is whittlingshack.com, or we're also the importer for Stubai palm tools from Austria. So give us a call if you're interested in tools, and we got a lot of videos on our website, so come check them out. Thank you.
Thank you. Show us the tools here as we exit out.
We've sold a few.
So there's Whittling Shack's information right there. They sell the Stubai brand of tools. We'll zoom in here to Chris's website, sorry. And just a few examples of what others he's done. Let me flip over to the other table, other side of the table. And there you have it, folks. Give them a try. Talk to you later. Thanks.